All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Let's go and make sure the mic is on. Testing, testing. All right, guys. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little black logo. Click on that. Turn notifications, subscribe to our channel. Make sure to hit that like button if you like these videos. Didn't do an after-market recap yesterday, just really because we've been reiterating the same thing over and over. It's low volume, guys. That's really all it is. Been a pretty quiet week for the most part. In terms of yesterday, we did catch an Apple trade for calls pretty quickly, so that was well done. But other than that, opportunities have been kind of hard to come by. Some meme names, as we know, have been going. There were some scalp trades out there, but again, difficult to kind of swing immediately, at least for a day or two. It's just been very low volatility, very low volume. You could see here on S&P futures, the blue bars are your volume. We had a nice spike in volume right around 2 o'clock yesterday. Excuse me. Around 2 o'clock yesterday, we had a nice spike in volume. That was a green candle, I believe. Other than that, it's just been pretty quiet. This is probably going to be this way until Labor Day for the most part. Just a pretty quiet choppiness. So again, no need to blow any capital on doing anything just because. Again, just going to play tactical. Last couple of weeks, last 5 or 6 weeks have been excellent for us. So there's really no reason to want to really push the risk when we know there's opportunities coming. So with that being said, let's go and take a look at the market. Dow up 28 points, Nasdaq up 20, and S&P up 6. Snooze fest, guys. Russell 2000 up 0.28. Sure, remember that 2000 level we've been talking about. Crude oil is up today. That is up about 2.16%. Let's see if we finally break that 90 handle here on the hourly. That's the 200-day moving average. If you're looking at home at the daily, really the key level you're looking for is the 20-day moving average, was around 92.31. I don't think it gets there, but we'll see what happens. I'm ready for anything. Gasoline futures are up today, $2.98 a gallon. Gold futures are up 0.21%. And the reason that commodities are up today is because the dollar is down, or pretty much flat. The dollar is right around 106.67. We talked about this rejection here of this resistance, but we keep tapping it. More than likely, we'll probably break above that. So again, commodities are more than likely to take a hit. Kind of lines up with the S&P being a little bit at overbought conditions, very much at overbought conditions on the RSI. We talked about that. If you want me to go ahead and add it, I will. We'll go to momentum studies. We'll go to RSI. On the hourly, not overbought. On the daily, we're still slightly at overbought. So again, still okay. But again, you see where we were till last November. How about the weekly? 3 weeks. Not at overbought condition. So we have a little more room to run, and I expect us to go higher. It's just right now, it's not a lot of volume, not a lot of action out there. So I do think, based on what we've been talking about now for weeks, has been this megaphone formation. And again, I still think 4,400 is in play. Should we get a little volatility here and there, little drops here and there? Of course we will. Yeah, it doesn't go straight up, but at the end of the day, at least RSI readings aren't too bad. You could see the daily. Yeah, we're starting to pull back from overbought conditions, but not to the point where it's extreme either. Let's go and take a look at the Nasdaq together. And again, now it's off overbought conditions. You could see on the hourly, kind of right at 50. Again, I don't use RSI much, but again, it is important to at least show you another study out there that you guys can look at if that's your preference. Let's go and take a look at RTY, which is it the Russell 2000? 2050 is resistance. We are below the 200-day on the daily. So once we break above that, we can take a look at it. I'm not salivating over it. My target for NASDAQ is right around 14,000 futures. That's your 200-day. I have not traded much futures lately, but if we can break above here, right around 13,684, maybe I can go ahead and catch that 14,000 NASDAQ, but I want to go ahead and see if we can break above. Still a lot of bears out there, guys. Still a lot of bears. Take a look at Apple. We caught that yesterday. 176.50 is that break. There is that resistance there right at 179. We played the 180 calls yesterday, caught that rather quickly. Look at this trend line here. pretty nice to the downside, but we broke above it on the daily and settled above it. So could that be short-term resistance? Yes, resistance can break slightly. Could be, but you could see that we are now going to tighten if we stay above 165. That is your support. So again, if you're looking to buy some more Apple, I think I might want to leg in right around 165. As you could see, based on this trend line, is on the weekly. You could see just pretty much nice support. We broke below it. Now we're back above it. Now you see that support right around 165. Let's see if we can get there. Let's see, what else am I missing? Euro dollar. We talked about Forex and euro dollar. Again, my level is 102, 102.15 to go long. In order to go short on euro, you need to get it below one. So I'll leave an alert there if that's the case. Dollar yen is pretty much flat today. I have an alert to the downside of 129.99. I expect dollar yen to either come down with dollar weakness, or if the dollar does weaken as well, we could play the euro dollar to the upside. I still think the dollar continues to slide a little bit. Even though we can break that 106.97 level, we'll get some commodities to weaken, but I think heavy resistance is right around 107.50 or so. But nothing really to get excited about, to be completely honest, guys. If you took the week off this week, that's totally cool. You really didn't miss much. We do have a gap to fill here on Bitcoin at 28,769, but we need the Nasdaq to pop. We need the dollar to continue to roll higher, to lower, excuse me. And Ethereum, which has been outperforming Bitcoin, did finally fill this gap here. We have one other gap here of 2631. That is my target. In terms of what I'm looking at today, I'm actually looking at Apple again to see if I can re-enter that long at 180. And the way I want to do it is if I get to 176.50. I want to buy next week's calls again if we break above that and play the 180 strike. That seems to be the one with the most juice right now. Your Apples, your Teslas, those are the ones that continue to run. But for the most part, it has been very, very quiet out there. So there's no need to actually push the envelope on much. Let's answer some questions. Austin is, what time frames do you look at? I look at the 1 hour and the daily mostly. Olivia says, bless you. Thank you. I did sneeze. Appreciate that, Olivia. David says, besides buying your normal weekly buys, are you buying any stocks to hold for long term, or are you waiting? We have bought some stocks for the long term. We bought some Target. We bought some bonds. We bought some Merck. Remember, we got that Chevron and we sold out. We took about 19% on that. SpyG every week. Still buy crypto every week. And we had that crypto buy on YouTube that I talked about, where we got in at Bitcoin, I want to say around 18.2, and we got in at 900 for Ethereum. So a pretty good buy, not a ton of capital, a ton of risk put on. But again, the market's not going to go anywhere, at least right now. It's a wait and see period. Let's see if we can get a nice dip. Maybe we could buy that. But yeah, I have to agree. We tapped that 200-day. We're above the 50% retracement. The worst is over. It's it. I mean, just say, I've seen enough. The worst is over. We're not going to retest 3,600. And for those that are playing the 2008 analogy, what bank is going to fail? What is the systemic risk to the market? There isn't any. There is no Lehman Brothers moment awaiting for us, unless you think we're going to have nuclear war or something. Fine. And at that point, your stocks don't even matter. Anything on the watch list today? Really, the only one I see is Apple. Again, Apple, if we break above 176.50, I want to play the 180 calls. They had a lot of volume yesterday. We caught them yesterday. Let's see, the chips, maybe not much. AMD, not much. Let's see some of the meme names. Palantir, that $9.40 support. Let's see GME. Everyone's kind of talking about that one. On the hourly, not much edge unless you're expecting a pop. Let's go and take a look at AMC. Not much edge either. Good old Bed Bath & Beyond that everyone's been trading is down after hours. You can see at 1857. What I want to short, I really don't even want to touch it at this point. I don't even want to tempt fate at this point. Why waste capital on something that you're just going to throw away? I would not trade anything for Friday expiry. I would trade for next week expiry. And in terms of what we're waiting for next week, I think it's not too early to take a look at next week's numbers or next week's economic data. We'll go to next week, and I'll move over this here. Next Tuesday, we have flash services, PMI, durable goods orders, pending home sales next week. Preliminary GDP quarter over quarter. This is the preliminary GDP. I don't know what quarter that's for, but it says the forecast is -0.9. Maybe it's the last one. Jackson Hole Symposium is next week. Core PCE, this is important to the Fed, so we'll be watching that next Friday. So other than that, not tons. So again, this week and next week, all quiet on the Western Front, I expect. We'll still be watching. We'll still be looking for opportunities if they're there, but I would temper expectations. Let's see. Also, good morning, by the way. William, thank you. Thoughts on AMD puts, Daniel asks. Let's see. AMD puts, yes, you are now in a new channel. So let's go and bring up the 4 hour. Really 94.20 would be a nice level to target if you want to short. I actually like this if we get some movement to the downside on S&P. So let's go ahead and see if we can go right around here below 97. If we go below 97, you could target the 94s, which would get us nice support from about 2 Tuesdays ago. So again, not a bad look there if we can get some movement to the downside. It's pretty flat this morning with the market. So again, for S&P, what I'm looking at really is 42.49 before we even discuss any puts. I mean, you need some really meaningful dip at least, and there hasn't been much. If this is what the Bears best shot is, I'm not impressed because I just think it's just mostly just low volume. I mean, you could see it here in the bottom right hand corner how low this volume is in comparison to other days in the morning. It's just not much there, guys. Love the trim. Appreciate it. Thank you. Are you holding any contracts? I'm holding, what am I holding? Let's take a look. I have the Apple runner on the 180s. I have Walmart, which is pretty much ugly. We kind of pretty much got in at the worst possible case. We got in right here waiting for the breakout. There is a gap to fill right here, right around 146. We did not get that. But the good news is that we settled above the 200. So let's see if we get some kind of news with Walmart. Maybe we could get back to 142 and salvage some premium, but ugly. Even if we win the next week's contracts, those premiums got hit very hard. So again, we're looking to salvage Walmart. And the other trade I have is Microsoft. And again, I need a break of 293.72. I have the 295 calls on Microsoft. We just need to break that 200-day moving average and fill that gap to 296.34. Let's see if we get that push. If you guys remember last week, we traded QQQ for Wednesday expiry. If we would have just had Friday expiry, we would have banged because they were in the money by Thursday. It's not only enough to be right, you have to be right on time. Thoughts on NVIDIA? Let's see. Chris was asking about Walmart. I just went over Walmart. Again, it is above the 200 days, so let's see what we get. But we're looking to salvage that, if anything. NVIDIA. NVIDIA, not tons of room here to do much in terms of trading. If you are looking for puts, you need to get below the 20-day moving average on the daily. That usually kind of gives us a good short-term indicator of direction. So again, 181.39, I don't think it breaks that, but I'll go ahead and place an alert there. Let's go and place it at 181.20. If that does happen, then I think we do need a short NVIDIA, which is completely fine. I do own shares, but we can start getting back around to 170, give us about $10 cushion. But again, that 20-day moving average is something that I do look at on the daily to give us a little bit of a hint of where the market's moving. So again, the market's going higher, but semiconductors are, moving here and there, but nothing special. So that's where we are this morning. We'll go ahead and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon. In terms of the aftermarket recap, I'm really only going to do it for earnings from now on. It's kind of the reiteration of the same thing I'm saying in the morning. I do put a recap on the Instagram as well. So again, all the headlines, all the information are there. I just don't want to waste your guys' time because it's not much to talk about, especially in a low volume environment. I'm watching CNBC right now, and yeah, there's a couple of names up here and there, but they have their backup anchors. August, end of August, kids are back to school. Usually pretty quiet. Once we get after Labor Day, we'll start cooking again and start seeing some volume. But doesn't mean you can't trade anything. It just means temper your expectations for any kind of explosive or high volatility news or information. We just went over Forex Factory. Next week's reports weren't exactly eye-opening or salivating. One piece of news as well. We do have continuous job claims, 250,000. The forecast was 263. Labor market is still strong. That's still important to the Fed. Wage pressure and rents are still the problem for the Fed. At least everything else in inflation is going down. But again, I think the Fed would want a little more unemployment, so wage pressures can go down and inflation go down with it. So again, still strong labor market. Kind of hard to have a very severe recession or a 2008 analogy when people are working and spending. So just yeah, September is historically a down month, but not as bad as October. October is okay. You just have to take away 87 and take away 2008. That's really the two outliers in October, but September generally is pretty weak. That's very true. But have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning for the morning notes, since we won't really do the aftermarket recap. If it was earnings, guys, I got you, but it's just we're just going to talk about the same thing over and over. Real quick question to everybody: if anyone owns a PlayStation or PlayStation Online and plays GTA Online, I need help to do some heists. It would be really, really appreciated if you could help me, because I don't have many friends that have PlayStation 5 or play GTA. Everyone's a Warzone guy, but GTA is really fun. And if you guys do play PS5 GTA Online, let me know. Help me out. We'll get some heists and help me make some money in that game. Please, I want to buy cars. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Cheers.